The lawyer looked around the room and asked a question that didn't make any sense. "Is everyone here?" My sister nodded. My stepmother folded her hands. I said yes. The lawyer opened my father's will, and 5 minutes later, I learned that one sentence had quietly erased the future I thought my dad had planned for me. Not because I wasn't in the will, because of one hidden clause none of us knew existed. My name is Ethan Calloway. I'm 38 years old, and until last year, I believed my father trusted me more than anyone else. He was a quiet man, never flashy, never emotional. For 35 years, he owned a small HVAC company outside Columbus, Ohio. He wasn't wealthy by celebrity standards, but he built something valuable. The business, a paid-off house, retirement savings, life insurance, a few investment accounts. Altogether, his estate was worth a little over $1.4 million. Not enough for headlines, but enough to change a family's future. Dad always told my younger sister Lily and me the same thing. When I'm gone, everything will be fair. He repeated it every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, whenever estate planning came up. So when he passed away from a sudden heart attack at 69, I wasn't thinking about money. I was thinking about the man who taught me how to drive, how to change a tire, how to keep my promises. The funeral came first, then the condolences, then the paperwork. 3 weeks later, the attorney called. He wanted every beneficiary present. That sounded normal, until he specifically asked for my stepmother, Denise, to attend in person. The conference room felt strangely quiet. A polished oak table, leather chairs, a stack of legal folders waiting in front of the attorney. Denise sat across from me. Lily sat beside her. No one spoke much. The attorney adjusted his glasses, opened the folder, and began reading. The beginning sounded exactly like every will I'd ever heard about. Personal belongings, charitable donations, specific gifts. Then the house. Dad left the house to Denise for the rest of her lifetime. Again, nothing unusual. Then came the HVAC business. I expected Dad had left it equally to Lily and me. Instead, the attorney looked directly at me. "The business shall transfer entirely to my son, Ethan Calloway." I froze. Lily smiled. She already knew I had worked beside Dad for nearly 15 years. That part felt fair. Then the attorney kept reading. "Subject to the conditions described in Section 9. I frowned. I didn't remember Dad ever mentioning conditions. The attorney turned another page. His voice slowed, almost as if he already knew what was about to happen. Then he read the sentence that changed everything. "Should my son Ethan Calloway sell, transfer, refinance, borrow against, or otherwise surrender ownership of the company within 5 years of my death." The room became perfectly still. "His entire inheritance shall immediately transfer to the Robert Calloway Family Preservation Trust." I looked up. "What trust?" The attorney didn't answer immediately. Instead, he turned to another folder and quietly said, "Mr. Calloway created the trust 6 months before his death." I felt my stomach tighten. I had worked beside my father for 15 years. I knew almost everything about his business. Or at least, I thought I did. Because in that moment, I realized my father had spent the last 6 months of his life building something I knew absolutely nothing about. And somehow, every answer was locked inside a trust none of us had ever heard of. The attorney slid a second folder across the table. Stamped across the front were 4 words: Robert C. Calloway Family Preservation Trust. I had never seen it before, never heard Dad mention it, never signed anything related to it. Yet, somehow, my future now depended on it. The attorney opened the trust agreement. "The purpose of this trust," he began, "is to preserve the business your father spent 35 years building." I interrupted him. "So if I own the company, Why can't I make decisions about it? You can. He looked directly at me. But not every decision. The room fell quiet again. He explained the clause in plain English. If I operated the company normally, nothing happened. If I expanded it, nothing happened. If I hired employees, nothing happened. But if I tried to sell the company, use it as collateral for a personal loan, transfer ownership, or refinance it within 5 years, I would immediately lose every inheritance connected to Dad's estate. Not just the business, everything. The investment accounts, the remaining cash, even several family properties scheduled to transfer later. I looked at Denise. She seemed just as surprised as I was. Then Lily asked the question sitting in everyone's mind. Why would Dad do that? The attorney hesitated, then handed me a sealed envelope. Across the front, in Dad's handwriting, were 6 words. For Ethan, read after my death. My hands were shaking before I even opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter. The first sentence hit me harder than the trust itself. If you're reading this, I'm already gone. I swallowed hard. Dad continued, I know this clause will probably make you angry. It already had. But if you're angry, it means you're still thinking about what you want instead of what the business needs. I stopped reading. The room disappeared around me. I had spent 15 years helping Dad build that company. I missed birthdays, worked weekends, canceled vacations, skipped holidays during emergency winter repairs. The business had taken as much from me as it had from him. And now, Dad was telling me I couldn't even decide its future. The attorney gently asked if I wanted a few minutes. I nodded. Lily walked outside with me. For several minutes, neither of us spoke. Finally, she asked, What are you thinking? I looked across the parking lot. I'm wondering whether Dad ever actually trusted me. She frowned immediately. No, he trusted you more than anyone. Then why build a legal trap? She couldn't answer, because she couldn't. Neither could I. That evening, I went home and read Dad's letter again, slower this time. Near the middle, one paragraph caught my attention. You're probably asking why I don't trust you to sell the company. That's not the right question. Ask yourself why I was suddenly afraid someone would convince you to. I read those words 3 times. Someone would convince me? What did that mean? Dad never explained. Instead, he wrote one final sentence beneath it. There's something you don't know about the offer I received last year. I froze. Offer? No one had ever mentioned an offer. I'd worked in the office almost every day, handled contracts, reviewed payroll, met suppliers. If someone had tried buying the company, I would have known. Unless Dad had intentionally hidden it from me. The next morning, I drove straight to the business. I unlocked Dad's old office. Everything looked exactly as he'd left it. His coffee mug, his reading glasses, the framed photo of all of us standing beside the first company truck. I opened every filing cabinet. Nothing. Then I unlocked the bottom drawer of his desk. Inside sat a single blue folder. No client name, no company logo, just one handwritten label. Acquisition proposal. I slowly opened it. The first page showed an offer to purchase Callaway Heating and Air. The proposed sale price, $3.8 million, more than double what the business had ever been valued at. My hands started shaking. If Dad had accepted that offer, our entire family would have become millionaires overnight. Then I noticed something else. The proposal wasn't rejected. It wasn't accepted either. Instead, someone had written one sentence across the final page in thick black ink. Do not trust them. And underneath was my father's signature. I couldn't stop staring at the words, "Do not trust them." Dad had signed directly underneath them, not beside them, not on another page, underneath them. As if he wanted whoever found the file to understand that sentence more than the offer itself. I sat alone in his office for nearly an hour. Then I read the acquisition proposal from beginning to end. The company offering to buy us wasn't some small competitor. It was a rapidly expanding regional HVAC corporation that had been purchasing family-owned businesses across Ohio. At first glance, the offer looked incredible. $3.8 million, employment contracts for every existing employee, retention bonuses, promises to keep the Callaway name on the trucks. It looked almost perfect. Almost. Then I reached the last section, the legal language most people never read. One paragraph immediately caught my attention. The buyer could relocate operations, eliminate positions, consolidate assets, or discontinue the Callaway brand after the acquisition if business conditions changed. The promises weren't guarantees, they were optional. Dad had seen something I hadn't. He wasn't worried about money. He was worried about people. The technicians who had worked beside him for decades. The office manager who had watched me grow up. Customers who trusted our family because they knew our name. For the first time, the trust clause started making sense. The following week, I asked the attorney one question. Did my father ever explain why he created the trust? He nodded, then opened another envelope. Inside were meeting notes Dad had left for him. One sentence stood out immediately. A business built over 35 years can disappear in one emotional decision. The attorney looked at me. Your father wasn't worried about you making a dishonest decision. He was worried you'd make a desperate one. That sentence stayed with me because he was right. Dad knew something about me that I hadn't admitted to anyone. 2 years before he died, my wife and I had nearly lost our home after a difficult medical emergency. We recovered, but Dad knew how quickly financial pressure could change a person's judgment. If another crisis happened, selling the company would have looked like the easiest solution. The trust wasn't designed to punish me. It was designed to slow me down, to make sure no decision made during grief, fear, or financial stress could erase what he'd spent his life building. Over the next year, I stayed exactly where Dad wanted me, running the business, learning every part of it, building stronger relationships with employees and customers. Something unexpected happened. Revenue increased. We expanded into 2 neighboring counties, added 6 new service vehicles, hired 8 more technicians. For the first time, I wasn't simply continuing Dad's company. I was growing it. Almost 3 years after Dad passed, another acquisition offer arrived. This one was even larger. I smiled, then placed it in my desk drawer. Not because selling would always be wrong, but because now I understood why Dad wanted me to wait. Time changes decisions. Grief fades. Pressure eases. Experience grows. 5 years after Dad's death, the trust restrictions officially ended. The attorney called to let me know. I thanked him, then hung up. I never sold the company, not because a legal document forced me to keep it, because by then it no longer felt like something I had inherited. It felt like something I had earned. When Dad wrote that hidden clause, I thought he was controlling my future. Years later, I realized he had done something far more valuable. He protected me from making the biggest financial decision of my life before I was emotionally ready to make it. Sometimes the most important sentence in a will isn't the one that tells you what you receive. It's the one that quietly determines who you'll become after you receive it. If you inherited a family business with one strict condition attached to it, would you follow your parents' wishes or make your own decision? Do you think Robert protected Ethan or controlled his future? Share your thoughts below And don't forget, like and subscribe to Dollar Confessions for more powerful money stories and valuable life lessons.